Okay, so good morning, everyone. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Okay, so basically, we have covered almost everything except the programming stuff. So now again, when you go for a particular interview, usually they have 1, 2, or 3 sessions. Some company they only have 1 session. It depends on the company's interview structures and everything. Um, but we like to prepare ourselves like for everything. Some company they don't want to give you any automation scripting or like any programming questions. Some company they do want to see your programming level. So these are the 15 programs that like 60% time they ask in the interview. Again, um, you have to practice. You have to understand whatever the code is like for every lines. Now, let's say if they ask you a question regarding a particular program and you forgot how to code it, but you know the logic. So if you can explain the logic, that will also definitely work. Okay. So starting from the first one, the first program is like write a program to find the largest, highest, or maximum number from a given range of number. So let's say you have a series of numbers. So if you can check, can you guys see my pointer, mouse pointer?
No.
No, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, so the first of all, like when you want to write a program, so basically we have to create a class, and then inside the class we have a main method because we like to execute the program. So now the question here is you have to understand, write a program to find the largest, highest, or maximum. That means you have to find the highest number or the maximum number from a given range of numbers. So when you think about the given range of numbers, so that means you have a variable, okay? It could be integer, it could be double, it could be float, depends. However, but the values are more than once, sorry, more than one. So that means this is basically an array, right? So this particular case, we have an integer array. The name of the integer variable is numbers, and we're basically storing some random numbers like 100, 4, 6. So these are basically random numbers that we stored. Now the question here is we have to find the maximum number from this given range of numbers. Okay. So first of all, so that's why we have to write some logic, and that's why we need like programming. So the first thing we're gonna do is, remember when I when I taught you like arrays, I told you the array's index number start from 0. So if you'd like to print the 100, so basically you have to say number system.out.println and numbers index number 0, just like this. If you'd like to print 4, then it should be number index number 1, number index number 2, number index number 3, number index number 4, like this. So the first thing we are going to do, please try to understand the programming question and programming all the steps. If you are confused about any steps, stop me right there and ask me a question. So the first variable where we have declared all the numbers, it's an array. Int is a type of array, or array of integer, whatever you want to say. Second, initially we are thinking, or we are just imagining, or like, like when you started math, first time we do like suppose x equal to 5, suppose y equal to that. So initially we're considering the max number is number 0. So that means whatever is number in this 0 position, index number 0 position, we're thinking, okay, this we can keep our maximum number for now. Okay, so that means initially we are thinking that integer max equal to number 0. So that means this is one particular number. Which number? The first number of this particular series. Okay, so we're thinking, okay, the first number is the max number. Okay. So now,
Haya, so does this 0 represents the first index number?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go back to my array class, it would be also like carry a concept. So remember, if you like to print this 100, so you cannot just print 100 like from array like this. You have to print the index number system.out.println, and then you have to mention this number 0. Okay, so that means we initially have this 100, which is in index number 0. We're thinking, okay, this is our max number. Now, logically, if I tell you without programming, how are you going to do it? So basically, you can say, hey, so I'm basically considering the first one as a maximum number, and then I'm going to go one step ahead, and we'll check with the next number, and then one step ahead, we'll check with the next number, one step ahead, we'll check with the next number. The exact same way we're going to do here. So if you'd like to go one step ahead, okay, that means you're doing what? You are incrementing. That's why we need a loop. Okay, so we are starting a for loop, which is basically starting integer I equal to 0, and length should be gone numbers dot length. Remember, array's length is less than 1. So if you're saying there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means the 10 starts from 0 to 9. Okay, so the length is 10, but index number is 0 to 9. Okay, so that's why length is i's value is always less than length, because total length is 10, but it should go till 9. Why? Because 0 to 9 is the index number. So this is, so first of all, we're going to mention that our index number starts from 0, which is fine. And then we mentioned a condition like how long the condition should go. So when the index number is 9, that time the condition will, that will be the last condition. If the index number is 10, then it's not going to accept this particular condition. Then we're incrementing I++. I++ means I equal to I plus 1. So that means it's going to go one step ahead. That's fine. Now, there is another loop inside. And the question here is why I need to loop. So remember, we have to compare two numbers, right? So the first loop is going to start from 0. So that means first loop is going to start from 100. Okay. And the second loop is starting from integer j equal to I plus 1. So basically I plus 1 means it's the next number of I. So if we are saying I equal to 0 in the first loop, that means this is the first number. Then integer j equal to I plus 1. So that means it's the next number.
4.
Okay. Because we need two numbers to compare, right? We need two numbers to check like if this is a maximum or not. Otherwise, how are you going to check? So usually when you compare which number is greater than the other, so basically you have to check between two numbers. So that's why I representing the first number and j representing the right next number. Okay. So for j, the only thing it will be changed is j equal to I plus 1. That means it's the next number of I. It's not like I plus 1 does not mean like it is the one step ahead. It's just the next number of I. Okay, and everything else will remain same because we are also incrementing. If we start from here, then still we have to go to this particular place and we have to increment. So now that means our looping is done. So now this to loop will do what? This to loop will first take this 100, then take this 4. Okay, and then the I will move to 4 and the j will move to 6. So that's the purpose of this particular loop, just to go one step ahead, one step ahead, one step ahead. Now we need a conditional statement, or we need a condition to check if the number is greater than. So now we're saying if numbers I, which numbers? These numbers. I means what? I means index number. So initially the index number is what? Initially the index number is 0. So if numbers I greater than numbers j, so that means if this particular number is greater than this particular number, then I'm saying, remember, this was our max. Okay, and we just declared a variable. Now you can change the variable value at any time. So we're saying if number I, so this number I is greater than number j, so that means number I is definitely bigger if this condition matches. So that's why we are saying then max equal to number I. So basically we're assigning number I's value into max value instead of this particular line. But if number I less than number j, So that means if number j is greater than number I, so that means this condition will never match. This condition will match, and we're going to assign number j's value here. So the summary here is our loop will start from here, one loop, i's loop, and the j's loop start from here. And we're going to check if this is number I and this is number j. If number I is greater than this number j, then number I is the highest number. And if number j is greater than number I, then number j is highest number. Okay, so we just wrote two conditions to match. Either number I is like when you are checking between two numbers, either number I is the greater number or either number j is the greater number, right? So one of them will definitely match. And whenever there is a match, it will assign this particular numbers I value to max. Now, for example, when we first start integer I equal to 0, okay, so that means it starts from here, it will match the condition and everything, so then it will come to here. So integer j, just j equal to I plus 1, which means equal to 4. So now when you are saying if numbers I greater than numbers j, so i's value what? I's value now is 0. So that means the index number of I is numbers index number is 0. So that means 0 index number is this one. So that means we have 100 here, okay? Which is and the condition greater than numbers j. Number j is what? Number j is I plus 1. So that means 0 plus 1. So number j is basically number 1 index number. So that means this particular 4. So 100 greater than 4 is the condition matches? It does. So that's why we're assigning number I means number 0. Okay, that means index number 0. So that means we are assigning this value to here. So now once this particular condition has matched, it will again come to here. Now it will check again numbers I that means 100 less than 4 or not. So this condition doesn't match, so it will not come inside. So that means this statement is over. Now it will go to the loop again. So now there was an increment I plus plus, so it will increment from I equal to 0 to now I equal to 1. So now the I value will move from here to here, and j value will move, this j value will move from here to here. So we'll check these two numbers now. Next we'll check these two numbers. So this is the way like it will basically go till the last part. Okay, so this is how you are basically finding the maximum numbers of a particular value. Now we're just trying to go with the opposite. That means write a program to find the smallest number or lowest number or minimum number. The exact same thing will happen. The only question is we're going to change this this one. So remember, in the first one we always assigned, let me show you. So now you can write a program in different ways. So if we like to say like find the minimum number. So remember, when we're checking this particular one, okay, we have assigned the maximum number. So we have the same program here. We have the same program here, but right now what's the condition? The condition is like we're going to assign the minimum one, not the max one anymore. So we're saying number I greater than number j, which is fine, but we are assigning number j. Okay, we are assigning basically the smallest one. So we're saying in this condition, basically stating this I should be definitely greater than j. So that means I is max and j is min. So we're always assigning the min is here. Same here, we're just assigning the minimum value here instead of maximum. So it will print the minimum for you. So this was how to write, how to find the program. How to write a program for minimum and maximum numbers. Now, when you write the program, make sure you are writing just based on your understanding first. Try to understand the logic, try to understand the program first, and then try to understand why we wrote for loop and if statements. These are the things. Okay. Next question is like write a program to find the second largest number or second highest number from a given range. So let's say we have a given range of number here. Now we know the maximum number, how to find a maximum number, which we already know. Now I'd like to know how to find the second maximum number. Okay, that means the second largest number. So first of all, again, from the questions, it clearly shows. From the question, it clearly shows write a program to find the second. So there means you have to write a program which finds the second maximum number, and then from a given range of numbers. So we have to use array. So again, we just create an array, and we kept some numbers. Now we're declaring some variables. Okay. So integer largest, this is one variable, integer second largest. Why we have declared? Because we are going to keep some values in the largest and the second largest. Okay. Now, previously, we did not have to find the maximum and second maximum number before. Okay. We just had to check the maximum number. So we had only one condition, one root. But here, I don't know like which one is when we're going to start from the beginning. So we have to ensure like which one is the first, which one is the largest and which one is the maximum for the first time. So that's why we are writing a condition if number 0. So that means this 0. Because remember in our previous one, we just compared variable like for the maximum, but here we need to find which one is maximum and which one is second maximum. So we wrote a condition here, just an if condition, if number 0, that means the index number 0, which value equal to 100, is greater than number 1. That means if this one is greater than this one, then I'm saying, remember, I just declared this value, but not initialized it. So here I'm initializing. So I'm saying if number 0 is greater than number 1, so that means largest equal to number 0. That means number 0 is largest and second largest is number 1. But if it's reverse, if 4 is greater than this, then largest should be number 1, this number 1, and second largest should be number 0. Simple enough. So why we wrote this statement? Because we have to identify the first two numbers first. So between the first two, which one is the largest and which one is the second largest, because we need to compare those in our loop. Okay. Next, we are doing what? Remember, if we're going to start from here, we have to go one step ahead, right? So that means we have to do increment and we need a loop, right? So what we have done here, sorry. Okay. Okay, so here we're going to start from integer I equal to 2. Now the question here is why I should start I equal to 2. In our previous one, we started I equal to 0 index number, but why 2? The reason 2, because you already checked these first two variable, which is 0 and 1, and you found already the result, which one is largest and second largest. Okay, so you don't have to check again from the beginning. So now you are starting from here, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so that's the reason your I is going to start from 2. So basically I is going to start from index number 2, which is this one. Okay, again, the length is the same thing for array and I++. That means we are going to do increment one time. So it's going to go from 1, 1, 1, just like 1. Now, the tricky part here is the condition. So if you can take a look, we're saying what? If number I greater than largest. See, we are comparing with this value now, the value that we just assigned. So we're saying if number I, because we know that between the first two, we have a largest number and we have a second largest number, and which we found from here. Okay, so now we're saying here, if number I means what? Number I means this one, because it's index number 2 now. So we're saying if number I means if this particular number greater than largest, so we got a largest number from here, right, which is number 0. So if I is greater than largest, so that means we had a largest before, but if the current I is greater than largest, that means we have to change. So that means the largest number will go to the second largest and the I will be the new largest number. So that's why we just change the value here. So we are saying if number I means here I is greater than the largest, means this largest, which we had before, if this condition matches, then the current largest number will be the second largest number. So that's why we're assigning the current largest number to the second largest number, and the number I will be the largest number. So we're assigning number I equal to largest. Now, why don't we assign first this one? Because if we assign this one, then the current largest value will be changed. So that's why we have to assign the current largest value in our second largest number first, and then we're changing our current largest number to this. Remember, I discussed when you say something like this, that means we're assigning values from left to right. So that means we have a value that is in the left variable, which we're assigning in the, sorry, we have a value in the right variable, which we're assigning in the left variable. So it should be right to left, my bad. Okay. So now, if this happens, that's fine. That means if this particular case happens, like if this number is greater than the largest, then this will happen. Now, what if this number is smaller than the largest? Or what if like we have another condition, for example, if number I is smaller than largest. So that means what if this particular number is smaller than largest, but bigger than the second largest? Okay. So if the number is, if this 6 is smaller than the largest, but bigger than the second largest, that means we don't have to change the largest right now. We only have to change the second largest, because that's the only thing that has changed. So that's why we're checking a condition here. If number I less than largest, that means largest is still the maximum or highest number, which is fine. But if number I greater than second largest, so that means it is greater than second largest. So that means we're assigning number I in the second largest value. So that means only the second largest is changing. So the summary here is we have first checked these two numbers, okay, to find which one is the maximum by these two conditions. So if we write these two conditions, this will give you which one is largest and which one is second largest. Then we are writing a for loop from here, okay, which will start from index number 2, because we already know this maximum and second maximum number from this particular 2. So it's going to start from here. And then we are checking if number I means if this particular number is greater than the current largest number, then the current largest number will be assigned to the second largest number, and the number that is greater than, which is this one, will be assigned to the largest number. Now, if number I, that means if this particular number is smaller than the largest number, but greater than the second largest number, then the second largest number will only be changed, not the first one. Okay. And then in the last line, we are doing what? We are just printing the second largest number, because that was our original questions. Write a program to find the second largest number. Okay, so this was that. Now we're going to write, we're going to explain some string-based programs. These are very important. So we have to like write a program to reverse a string without using string inbuilt function. So there are some inbuilt function, means inbuilt method in string. Remember, reverse method. So if you like to reverse a string, you can use the reverse method. However, you don't have to, or you cannot use any built-in function while they give you like a program. So here they're saying, okay, so you have a word. Okay, so there's one Indian movie named I Am Kalam. Okay, so this is the word, string words. Now you have to reverse it word-wise. So it should be in the output should be Kalam am I. So this will be the first word, this would be the second word, and this would be the third word. Okay, so Kalam am I. So this is our main goal here. Now, let me just add my pointer again. So first, this is our word, string word, I am Kalam, and we're going to change it. We write a program which it will print reversely. So it will print on the screen or on the console, Kalam am I. Okay. So what we have done here, string word equal to I am Kalam. So if you remember, there was a method I explained in the string class called split method. Okay. So split method is basically for string. So if you use the split method, it will basically split a string. Now you need to split on what? You need to split on space, you need to split on a specific character, you need to split on a specific, let's say, a specific number. So in our case, we are going to split against the space. Okay, so that's why we use the split method and we kept a space. So that means whenever you will find a space, just split here. So now the first thing, it is I, and then it just found a space. So it splits one. So that means this is word number 1, word number 2, word number 3. We have three words right now. So remember, when we have one variable, but we have more than one values, this is called array. And that's why when we are splitting this particular string, okay, so that means now this has converted into arrays. Why? Because right now we have not only I am column, we have 3 words: I, quotation mark, double quotation mark, then am, double quotation mark, then column, double quotation mark. So we have 3 words, 3 string type of words. So that's why we used the array sign. Whenever you have more than one values, then you need to use the array sign, because you have similar type of more than one values. You don't have like one single value anymore. So make sure, if you don't understand this part right now, go back to my string class. I explained the split method. Make sure you understand the split method, how it works, and then come back to this particular point. Now, there is a class called string buffer. I'm sure that you are not familiar with that particular class, but if you do, that's great. So this is a string buffer. This is a particular class. The only reason we're using this particular class here, because this has a method. This particular class has a method. So this has a method called append method, which we'd like to use. What append will do, I'm going to explain in a few, but that's the only thing that we are using this particular string buffer. Now, if we have to use a method of this particular class, in general, what you have to do, you have to create a class. So we're just not class, sorry, you have to create an object. So we're just creating an object. So string buffer, we just gave a reference name and then new and the constructor. So basically we're creating an object or instance of a string buffer class. Okay. Now I'm saying, remember, this has now 3 words. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So now I'm saying a for loop, which is start from integer I equal to words dot length minus 1. So we have to print it reverse, right? So if we'd like to print it reverse, then our for loop should start from the last, right? Not the first, because we are going to print from reverse. So that's why our for loop is going to start from last. Now, for an array, what is the last number? Remember, if this is now a 3 words. So this is index number 0. This is index number 1. This is index number 2. Now, if I'm telling you what's the length is 3. Okay, but index number 0 to 2. So that means index number is always 1 less than the length. So that's why integer I equal to words dot length minus 1. So that means original length is 3, but minus 1 means it's going to be 2. So i's value should be i's value should start from 2. So 0, 1, 2. So this means this is the last one. So that means we are starting the index number from the last one, and we are saying when the condition is reversed now. So we're saying when i's value equal to or greater than or equal to 0, till then the loop will continue. Now, if I value equal to minus 1, it's not going to work anymore. Okay, because I value, if this is minus 1, that means this is not equal to I, and this is not equal to I mean, if this is minus 1, that means this is not equal to 0 anymore, or this is not greater than 0, so it's not going to work. So this will break the condition. We are doing what? We are doing decrement now. We're coming from 2, then coming from 1, then coming from 0. So that's why I minus minus. Okay. Now here, remember, we create an object, right? We create an object, or we did create an instance of this particular class. So this is the reference. So calling the reference method, we call a method called append. Okay, this method is coming from where? This method is coming from this string buffer class. Now, what does append do? Append basically combined your words. Okay, So we're saying append. So whenever we're saying append, this append is saying, hey, if I'd like to append something, if I'd like to combine something, give me the word. Where's your word? So I'm saying words I. That means whichever will be the first index number, then take this index number, and then also in the same line, I'm doing what? I'm appending a space, because remember, you split against space. So right now you don't have any space. Okay, so you have to provide the space again. So that's why we're doing append space. So what's going to happen here? So first of all, it will go to words.length -1. So that means it will go to here, okay, which is index number 2, and it will check this particular condition. If I is value greater than or equal to 0, 2. So if I will equal to 2, so that means it is greater than. So this condition matches. Now it will come here, reverse words.append. So it will try to combine the word. Which word? Words I. Words I means these words, this particular words. I means index number 2. So index number 2 means 0, 1, 2. So first it will take this word column. Okay, so column and dot append, that means it will combine a space with the column. So column and then a space. This will be the first output for this line. Okay, so then it will do a decrement. Come to here. So right now I words.length. So right now i's value is what? Right now i's value is basically 1, because it just did a decrement. Okay, and then it will check the condition 1 greater than or equal to 0. Yes, the condition matches. Now it comes here, append words I. So append words I means now this I equal to what? Index number 1. So 0 and 1. This is index number 1 means M. So it will put an M, okay, and dot append a space. So after M, it will add an extra space, because when we are reversing, we also keep the space, right? So this will do this. Then it will do another decrement. So it will come to 0. The condition matches. Okay, 0 is not greater than equal to 0, but 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so it will match condition. Come inside words I. So that means right now this I equal to 0. So that means this I equal to I. Okay, and then it will append a space. So now the problem here is like, for this one, it's print as it just add a space. For this one, it just add a space, and for this one, it just add another space. So that means what's happening. Let me explain a little bit. So that means when we are writing the space, so right now it's going to be like this: column, then space, then M, then space, then I, then space. But remember, we don't need any space after that, because our initial word was I, M, column, right? So this was our initial word. We did not have any space before I. But in our current code, we have column, then we append a space. We have M, then we append a space. We have I, then we append a space. So there is a one space after the I. And that's the problem. Like, we have to remove the space, right? So that's why this particular loop, when this particular loop loops end. Okay, so let me just use my pointer again. Okay, so when this particular loops end, that means we have in this reverse word, in this particular reverse word, we have the whole thing that has appended: column, space, M, space, I, space. Now there is an extra space after I. So now we're doing what? We're taking this reverse word, which means this one. And there's one method called toString. Remember, this is not a string. This is not string. This is string buffer. So we're converting the string buffer into string. Okay, so we are taking this reverse word, which is this one, and we're typing dot toString. So this reverse word has right now this value, because we just appended those into our particular reference name. So if you want to print those, that means it will print the reverse thing. Now we're converting this into toString. Now there's a method called trim method. If you can remember, in our string class, I explained trim method has it just remove the space from the front and the back, not between the words. It's between the front and the back of the particular sentence. So it will remove a space from the front and back. So this will basically remove the space after the last one, and then you're just printing this string. And we are basically doing what? Once you convert it into string, so that means it is not array anymore. So it is a string. So we just kept a variable string, okay, and then we're just printing reverse. So this is how you can print reverse array. Okay. Now this is basically word wise. So that means column mi. Okay. So going back to the next one. This is the same string program, but in this case, we're going to basically going to we're going to reverse the array character-wise. Okay, so that means if you have like America, right, just like this, so it's going to be print the last character first. So just like this way. Okay, so if you provide this particular thing as an example, we should be see output like this. So that means previous one we had word wise. So that means if your word is if the whole sentence is my name is Alex, so it should be Alex's name Mike, this way. And this one is character wise. So that means each particular character should be reversed of a particular word. Okay, so we're going to start again the same process, but previously the previous one was word wise, so we just use a split method against the particular sentence. But this one is character wise, so we need the character. So if you can remember, there's a method called, this is our initial sentence. If you can remember, there is a method for the string called two character array, okay, or two char array. So this two character array means it will convert a particular sentence or particular string to individual characters. So that means every this particular I, A, M space, K, A, L, A, M, this will be individual character. Now, once you convert word those two char arrays, so that means every particular letter will be a different character or a single character. Now that means what? That means we have more than one characters here. So that's why word dot two character array means single quotation I, single quotation space, single quotation A, single quotation M, single quotation K. So that is, we have more than one. So that's why we use a character type of variable, and this should be array because we have more than one characters here. Okay. Again, we are using string buffer because we're going to use the append method. So we just instantiated the string buffer. We started the loop from integer I equal to ch dot length minus 1. So this ch, that means the loop starting from last. Okay. Then I greater than equal to 0, which is our condition, and I minus 1. This condition I already explained. Now here, reverse dot append chi, that means this character. Okay, that means this character, and I means index number. So that means it will first go to the last word, okay, which means M. So let me explain first. So let's say this loop start from what? Okay, so let's think about like this. A-M-E-R-I-C-N. Okay, so okay, or integer equal to, we made something ch dot length minus 1, then I greater than equal to 0 should be decrement and minus minus. Inside the for loop, we mentioned something reverse dot append, and it is going to append what? Ch. Okay. So now try to understand what's happening here. So the first time when you convert this to Give me 1 second. Where am I? So when you convert, let's say this is a string. Let's imagine like this string x equal to, let's say this is a particular string. Okay. So now when you convert into x dot to character array, this is a method I already explained in the string class. So that means this will convert now into characters. So we just keep a variable called c equal to, or like ch equal to. Now, so that means what's happening when you provide the two-char array. So once you provide the two-char array, in the side, it's happening like this. So A, and then the second number is M, then third number is E, then fourth number is R, then no, sorry, not number, fifth character is E, M-E-R-I. Seventh character is C. Okay. So once you convert to char array, this is what happens basically. And you can see this is more than one character, so we're keeping this particular thing in here. Okay. So now this loop, so now we have this one, right? So this particular loop starts from where? Length minus 1. So length minus 1 means the last one. So if we can consider 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So that means the length is 6, but the length starts from where? 0 to 5. Okay. So length minus 1 means starting from here. So it will take, first of all, this particular index number, which is what? Which is index number 5. So I value equal to initially 5. It will check the condition and it will come here. So once it comes here, so that means reverse dot append. That means just we are going to connect those particular characters. So what is the first character? The first character is CHI. That means first character is CH5, right? So if the first character is CH5, so that means CH5 means what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, my bad. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first character should be 6, not 5. Because total the length is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the length is 7. So 7 minus 1 equal to 6. So CH6. CH6 means character what? Character A. So this will be the first character. Okay. Then it will do a decrement. So it will take the second one, which is index number 5. So it will bring the second character. Then it will again do the decrement. It will take the third one, which is 6, 5, which is 4. Then, so this is the way it basically take one by one character, and then it will do the reverse. Okay. And this is the loop, like you can just, so you're basically trying to understand. Okay. So this is how you can do it like character wise. Okay. And in string, like you can do both word wise and character wise. Okay. So append method is basically append method basically accept a Boolean condition if it has a value or not. It is basically an inbuilt function for the string buffer, which basically helps you to append it, like to connect it, those particular keywords or particular characters or particular words, and keep it together. Okay. So now once you have done this, so that means reverse dot. So reverse is to our own documentation. So reverse has all our new particular things that we just append. Append means connect. So that means we have the word. Now, the reason we don't need to trim because we don't have an extra space here. Remember, we did not use any extra space because we just changed the characters. Okay, we did not add anything else. So that's why we're just printing this particular reverse. So if you run the program, okay, if you provide any sentences here, and then if you run the program, you can see the output will be reverse. Okay, so the next is write a program to sum all numbers from 1 to 100. So now sometimes they can say, hey, can you write a program and add like, or sum all the numbers from 1 to 10. So 1 to 1000, 1 to million. So it depends. It's just a random like restrictions or limitations, but it could be anything, you know. So that means you have to, that means you basically have to sum all the numbers from the starting to end. So always try to understand the question like very deeply. So they're saying write a program to sum all numbers from 1 to 10. So your for loop should start from 1 and it should end to 100, not 10, sorry. So initially we have to sum, right? We have to do sum, so there will be a result. So initially we are saying the result integer sum equal to 0. We just add a new variable, nothing else. Then our for loop starts from 1 from the question, okay, and it's going to end like 99, which is below 100. This is the condition, you know. So I'm just taking the condition directly, and we are going to increment 1 by 1, which is fine. Now inside the body, the sum is currently 0. Okay, so we are saying sum plus I. So that means 0 plus 1. So what's going to happen when you have I equal to 1? So it will match the condition. It will come here. So what is the value of sum? Sum value equal to 0. So it will add 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1. So that means the output here is 1. Now this one I'm assigning to sum. So that means sum current value is what? Sum current value is 1, not 0 anymore. Okay. So then it will do an increment again. Okay. Now I value equal to what? I value equal to 2. Okay. So now again sum plus I means what is the current value of I? I's value was currently 1. Sorry, not I value. Sum value is currently 1. So it should be 1 plus what? 1 plus 2. Okay. So that means it's 3. So we have assigned this 1 plus 2 equal to 3. So sum value right now is 3. Right. It will go take an increment. I's value is right now 3. Okay. It matches with the condition. Come here. So sum value is what? Sum value is currently 3. And then we are adding another 3. So 3 plus 3 equal to 6. So right now sum value is 6. Okay. It will go to here. Now I value equal to 4. So come here. So we had sum value equal to 6 plus 4 equal to 10. Right. So then we are assigning this particular thing again to the sum. So this will continue till it breaks the condition. Okay. And then you are going to get the result. So this is the logic behind this. So you have initialized some particular sum here, and then once we are adding sum plus I, and the new value is always assigning to the sum. So sum value basically changed, you know. All right. So this was that. This is called write a program to swap two numbers without using any third variable. So that means you have a number A, which value equal to 5, and you have a number B, which value equal to 10. Now, you have to swap these two numbers, but you cannot use any third variable. Okay, so how can we do that? You have to always catch the logic. So first of all, this is our variable equal to 5, integer B equal to 10. So what we are doing here, we are doing A plus B. So we are basically doing a summation, sorry, addition here, A plus B. So if it combine A plus B, should be 5 plus 10 equal to 15. And this 15 I'm assigning where? I'm assigning to A. Okay, so that means A's value is right now 15, not 5. We just change it to 15. Fine. Now, when I'm coming to B, B equal to A minus B. So A's value is currently what? A's value is currently 15 minus B. B's value is what? B's value equal to 10. So 15 minus 10 equal to what? Equal to 5. You can see this is as value, so it's already swapped. Now the question here is we have a value equal to 15 here. Okay, now we have to turn a value. So if you have a value equal to 15, so a equal to 15 minus b, b's value equal to what? B's value just changed to 5. So 15 minus 5 equal to what? Equal to 10. So that means 15 minus 5, this value has been assigned to a. So right now a's value equal to 10 and b's value equal to 5. So this is how like you can swap between two numbers. Okay, and then just you are printing. So basically you are combining the first two numbers and you are from the a's current value, you are just like deducting the b's value, and then the current b value you're deducting from the a's value. So basically this addition part is the most important one. Okay. That was that. Next is write a program to find all duplicate numbers from a given range of numbers. Whenever you see something numbers, that means it's more than one number, so it should be an array. Okay, so you have to find duplicate numbers. So this is the same exact way where that we found a maximum number, minimum number. The only thing will change what? The only thing will change the internal logic, internal statement. Remember, in the maximum minimum numbers, we compared if number I greater than number j, like this. But this time, number I should be equal to number j. So if number I, this means is equal to number j, so that means this number is a duplicate number. And then we're going to print this duplicate number. So it is same as maximum minimum numbers you're taking, because you are comparing between these two. Okay. So if every time you are taking two numbers, so that's why you need I and you need j equal to I plus 1. That means j equal to the next number of I. And then you are comparing if these two numbers are equal to each other or not. If it does, then it will go ahead and print hey duplicate number j. If it does not, then it will not go inside and it will just go to the loop again and try to complete the loop. Okay. So this was that. This is a simple one. Write a program to find even or odd numbers, which usually they don't ask anymore, but sometimes some company does. It's a very simple program. So what exactly we're doing, you can see like we have started a for loop style, which is starting from equal to 0, and there's a condition that means how long it should go or when it should break. And if we remember the reminder operator, which will give you the reminder of the particular number dividing by when you are dividing with something. So for example, when I reminder 2, so if 2 reminder 2, that means nothing reminder left. But if 1 reminder 2, that means 1 left. If 3 reminder 2, that means 1 left. So the condition here is like if the reminder is 0, that means we don't have any number reminder left, so that means it's an even number. So if you divide anything like any numbers by 2, okay, and the remainder is 0, then it means it's an even number. But if the remainder is 1, that it means odd number. So for example, like if you take the first number 2 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. 4 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. 6 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. But if you divide 3 divided by 2, the remainder is 1. Okay, because 2 will only go for one time and then 1 will left. So that means you have a reminder. So this is how like you can just find out even and odd numbers. Now, the important programs starting from here, these are the things that they sometimes ask, and these are most important programs. So write a program to find the factorial value of a number. Now, before you go to the program, you have to understand what is factorial number. If you ever had a math subject in your higher secondary or secondary, so you basically are familiar with the factorial number. If you are not, that's fine. I'm going to explain. So factorial number is a positive integer number, okay, where all the values basically goes from this particular number to 1. For example, the sign that we use for factorial number is, if we go back to here, so remove this critical thing. So if I'm saying this is the factorial sign, this is the factorial sign. So if I'm saying like this, so that means 3 times 2 times 1. Okay. If I'm saying factorial 5, basically factorial 5 equal to, so 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So whatever result we'll find, this is called the factorial number. So factorial number is basically a positive integer number where the values is decrementing to 1 and it is multiplying all the values. Okay. So whenever a user will give a particular factorial number, it should give the result this particular thing. And this is our goal. Okay. So write a program to find the factorial value of a number. So let's say if I'm giving you, hey, can you give me the factorial value of number 7? So your program should take this particular number and give me the value. Okay. So let's start. So the first one, remember this is the scanner. So we are going to take an input. What type of input? Integer type of input. If you can remember the scanner class. So scanner class is basically helps you. It has some specific methods which you can use in order to take input. So new scanner system means that means you are going to take input using the system. This particular is a message, particular message, enter the number of factorial values. So it will like print on the console, and then you are taking one integer type of input. Remember next integer, if you can just remember how to take it. So this particular, this line, and this line will just take an input from the user. What type of input? Next integer input. So now this input has been stored in a new number. What type of number? Integer type of number or integer type of variable. Okay. Now, initially, we are saying integer, or we are just declaring one variable, integer factorial equal to 1. Okay. So we are just, this is a particular thing, we are just initializing a new variable, integer factorial equal to 1. So we have two variables. One, integer number, that means the number which will be provided by the user. And the second, we are just saying integer factorial equal to 1. Now, we're writing a for loop here. Integer I equal to number. So that means the number that user will give me, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 7. So this will be my I. Okay, that means from here I'm going to start. So let's say a user provided me number 3. So that means current, this is provided by the user. So that means I value equal to 3. Now I value should continue till when? Till I value equal to or greater than equal to 1. So that means when I value equal to 1, that's fine. But when I value equal to 0, that means we cannot go like this. So this is the rule of factorial value. So that's why we just mentioned the condition. It needs to come till 1. If it is 0, then it's not going to work anymore. Now we're doing what? 3, 2, 1. So if it is like 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're doing decrementing. Okay, we're basically decrementing particular value. So that's why I minus. So what's going to happen first? So remember this factorial equal to what? 1. Okay. So let's say if the value equal to, if user provided a number called 3. Okay. If user provides us a number called 3. So the first time this will come here 3. It will check the condition. Yes, it is good. So it's going to come here. Factorial value. What is the factorial value? 1. So 1 times 3. So this is the first thing. 1 times 3 equal to 3. So this 3 will be assigned to this factorial. So that means right now this factorial value equal to what? 3. It's not 1 anymore. So right now this factorial value equal to 3. So it will decrement 1. So that means I value equal to what? I value equal to 2. Checks, it matches the condition. It comes here. Factorial value right now what? Right now 3 times I value equal to what? 2. So 3 times 2 equal to 6. Okay. Then this 6 will be assigned this factorial again. So then it will come again, it will do again a decrement till 1, decrement till 1, from 2 to 1. So I will equal to what? 2. Okay. matches the condition, comes inside factorial equal to currently what? 6 times what? Times 2. So 6 times 2 equal to 12, right? So 6 times 2 equal to 12. So this is how like you're going to get the factorial number basically. So if I can write the program for you, give me 1 second. Wait just 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so let me just write the program on the screen so it will be easier for you to understand what's happening. Okay, so where am I? I'm here. Okay, so let's just write it quickly. So this is my main method. So I'm using scanner, and then let's say s equal to new scanner system dot in. Okay, so that means I'm going to take an input. So I'm going to take enter a factorial number. Okay, and then I'm saying this particular message. Okay, next I'm saying sc dot. Next I'm going to take an integer input, so it should be sc dot next int. Okay. So as this is an integer number, so we can keep this in an integer type of variable. So it could be like, let's say number, just a number. Okay, and then I'm saying integer. Let's say one step integer. I'm just saying randomly factorial value initially equal to 1. Okay, now writing the for loop. So the for loop is going to start from integer I equal to number. That means the number which user will give me, and then I value equal to or greater than should be 1. Okay, this is the condition, and then it should be I minus minus. So inside here, I'm going to say factorial equal to factorial times I. Okay, and then outside the loop, we're just printing I. So you can just add a message factorial value is, then you can say this factorial. Okay, so imagine we gave number 3 here, not here, here. So what's going to happen? It will first come here. That means number 3. It will check the condition, right? Okay, so it will come inside here. So when it will come inside here, so we have factorial value 1 times I equal to what? I equal to number 3. So it will come what? It will come 3. The output should be 3. So that means this 3 has been assigned here, factorial. So right now this factorial value is not 1, it's changed to 3. So it will do decrement. So it will from 3 to right now it's 2. It will come here 2. So basically it's right now the factorial value equal to what? Right now the factorial value equal to this factorial value equal to 3. So I'm writing 3 times what? times I. I is value equal to what? I is value equal to 2. So I is value equal to 2 equal to 6. So that means right now this factorial value equal to 6. This factorial value equal to 6. It will decrement minus minus, so it will come to 1. So that means right now this factorial value equal to what? This factorial value equal to 6. And I value equal to what? I value equal to 1. So I value equal to 1. So that means it's equal to 6. So it will assign this particular area, which is factorial value equal to 6. It will come here, minus minus. So 1 minus 0. So now it will come here and it says, oh, okay, we don't match the, or we don't satisfy the condition anymore, because right now it's 0. So the loop will break and then you'll see the result should be in the 6th. So if I run the program, you can say it's so into the factorial value number. So if I'm writing the number 3, it should be 6. Now if you'd like to run something else, like let's say 4, factorial value is 24. Okay, because 4 should be like this way. If you write something 4, so it should be 4 times 3 times 3 times 2 times 1. So 4 times 3 equal to 12, 12 times 2 equal to 24, 24 times 1 equal to 24. Okay, so this is how these factorial things work. So this is one of the most important program. Make sure it's a very simple one. Make sure you're trying to understand. Make sure you're doing practice a lot. Okay, next is Fibonacci number, the next most important program. So first of all, we have to understand what is a Fibonacci number. Okay, so a Fibonacci series is basically a series of numbers. Okay, it's the sum of the two, I'd say, like preceding numbers or the previous numbers. Okay, the simplest series is 1 plus 1 plus 2, 3, 2. So basically it's the previous and next numbers sum. So let me just explain how it works. Let's go to here. Let's remove this particular lines. So Fibonacci number starts from 0 and 1. So let's say 0. Okay. So previous number, previous, and next. Okay. So, and then, okay. So let's say initial is 0 plus 1. So the first Fibonacci number should be 0 plus 1 equal to 1. So this is the current summation. So it will always take the current summation and the next number. Okay, so that means which was the next number? This was the next number. So it will take 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Now 2, which was the right, which was the right next number? So remember, this was previous, this was next. So this next number is 2 plus 1 equal to 3. So right now this is 3, which was the number before that? 2, right? So 3, 2, 1. So it should be 3 plus 2 equal to 5. So right now this is 5, which was just the before number of 5. We have added 3. Okay, so it should be 5 plus 3 equal to 8. So you can see we're getting new numbers. We're getting 1, we're getting 3, we're getting 5, we're getting 8, like this. So this is the way basically the Fibonacci series works. You can see 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Now, if you still need some more information, what is Fibonacci numbers, go to internet. It's a mathematical term. You will see a lot of explanations. Just try to get some knowledge, or like you can also check on YouTube. So Basically, Fibonacci number is we have a previous number and we have a next number. So we are adding the previous and next number, okay? And the next number is always going to be the sum. Okay. So when I write the code, I think you'll get more ideas. So where am I here, right? Give me 1 second. Okay, got it here. Okay, so let's say we have a number integer previous number equal to 0. So we are going to start from 0, and the right next number is integer next equal to 1. So the next number of 0 equal to 1, and we're saying integer sum equal to 0 again. So that means sum's value equal to just we have initialized the sum. This will definitely change. So this sum is exactly equal to this particular sum. Where am I? Okay, here. Okay. So now let's say I'd like to get a Fibonacci series from 1 to 100. Okay. So what do you have to do? If you are going 1 to 100, then you have to write a for loop. Okay. So the for loop should start from 2. Number 2. Why? Because we already have 0 and 1, right? So the next number would be 2. So I'm saying integer I equal to 2. And then it should continue, like, let's say till 100 and I plus plus. Here, what's happening? So the sum should be initially previous, which means we have to add this previous number plus the next number. So that means we are just adding previous and the next number, which will for this one we'll get a sum number. Now the sum will always be, the sum will always be basically the combination of previous and next number. But depending on the, how should I say? Okay, let me just write it first. Then I can explain. Previous number should change to next, and next number should equal to sum. Okay, so if you can just take a look at here, this will be our Fibonacci series. From this one, we just went till 8, but the current program that we are writing, it will go till 100. Now there'll be questions like, hey, write a Fibonacci number to find from 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 30, 1 to 50, 1 to 5. It depends. Okay, so let me explain here. So initially our previous number is 0, right? And our next number, we just took 1. So 0 and 1 is our previous and next number. We have sum 0, we just declared, that was initialized, and definitely we're going to use the different values. We have a for loop because we have to go from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, or let's say 1 to 100. The loop starts from 2 because we already took two numbers, 0 and 1. Okay. Now the summation here for the first one should be 0 plus 1 equal to what? 1. Okay, this should be the summation once it's matching this particular condition. Now you have to think about the previous number is changing to the next number. So which was our next number here? Our next number was our next number was 1. So right now this next number has been assigned to previous number. So that means previous equal to 1. Then what should be my next number? My next number will be this summation. So I'm going to assign this sum here. So my next number is going to be 1. Why 1? Because there's 1 here. Is the summation. Okay. Now it will go increment 1 more. It will go to 3. Okay. So when it will go to 3, right now, what is the summation of this particular number? Okay. So right now the previous and next has been changed from here. So previous equal to what? Previous equal to right now 1, you can see, and next equal to right now 1. So the result should be 2. So once the summation equal to 2, that means we're again changing the next number, which was our previously next number. Our previously next number was 1. Now we are going to assign the next number into previous number. Okay, so that means this one is now, excuse me. So this one is now the previous number. Okay, which was fine. And this particular next sum equal to right now 2. So we're assigning this sum into next number. Okay, so it should be like always, if you just imagine, so it should be 0 plus 1. Okay, this is previous number. And so let's say previous 0 and next number 1. Now you'll get a result, which is basically sum. So once this particular previous number has been like 0 and 1 plus, it will get a new one. So this will be the new next, and this current next will be the previous. Okay, so let me I'm not sure if there's understanding or not. So we are starting from 0 plus 1. This is the first two numbers. So let me just use my arrow pointer. So this is our previous number, and our previous number starts from 0. Okay, this is our next number. Next number is 1. Okay, so previous plus next, we are just adding two numbers. There's a result. What's the result? The result equal to 1. So once we get a result, then our next number, which was the next number, it will be the previous number, and the new result will be the next number. Okay, so that means which was our previous next number? Our previous next number was 1. So this will be now changed to a previous number. So this is now previous number. And what is the new one? The new one is the summation. Summation will be the new next number. So it should be this one. So here it should be our previous, which was the original next number was 1, and the new so this original next number is right now the previous number, and the new sum is currently the next number. Okay, so the result should be 2. Now this is previous, this is next, this is sum. So once this previous plus next, we get a sum. So this will be now turned into previous, and this will be now turned into next. So previous plus next equal to 3. Okay, so now this is previous and this is our new next. So previous plus next equal to previous plus next equal to 5. Okay, so that means this was previous, this was next. When we get a sum, that means this is our new next and this is our new previous. Okay, so that means every time, just now imagine, so this is previous plus next. Once we get a new sum, so we are assigning this next, which is this next. We are assigning the current next into our previous. So current next is going to be the previous, and current next value will be the sum value, which is this value. So this is how it works. Okay, so every time it will go here, and then if you just see, you have to add a print statement on top, so it will get a sum result. So it will print all the values just like this. Okay, so this is called the Fibonacci number. So we have a previous number, we have a next number. So every time when we'll do a summation, so the summation will be the new next number, and the previous next number will be the next number, which was, it will be the previous number. Okay, so this was that. Now is another important program. This is called write a program to test a string is palindrome or not. So palindrome is basically whenever you are trying to reverse it, it should be the same. So for example, there are some numbers. If you write 1 to 1, okay? So if you reverse it, it will still remain 1 to 1. If you write a word in string called mom, so if you reverse it, it will still be mom, okay? So this is called palindrome. When you reverse a particular word and it represents the same meaning, same characters, okay, then this is called palindrome. So this is particular thing is like this. So remember, we have to do few things together and you have to understand what you're going to do step by step. So palindrome number. So first of all, we're using scanner SC, we got a new system.in. We're using this one for string, for words, not for numbers. So initially we're using for words, then we are going to write another program for numbers, okay? So that means when user will give me a word, my program will check if it is palindrome or not. If the word is like MOM, like which you can reverse and it is the same meaning, then this is palindrome. If the word is not when we are reversing, if it is not same, then it will not a palindrome number. So initially, this line is taking input. I don't need to explain this particular line original. So it is taking string as an input. So it will take an input for as a string type, data type. Okay. Now this string reverse word, I just kept an empty string with no value, just empty string, because I'm going to keep some values in this particular string. Okay, so initially I'm doing what I'm doing. Initially I'm taking the original word dot length -1. So I'm starting from the last, okay, because the first thing I have to do is I have to reverse the word. Okay, the first thing I have to do is I have to reverse the word. Now you can reverse it in this way or you can reverse it in other way that we just learned, string reverse character wise. Okay, so the first thing you have to reverse the character and then you have to compare between these two. Okay, the reversed one and the current one. So that's why we are taking this one original word dot length -1. So it's going to take this last one, it will check the condition and then it will come inside reverse word plus equal to. So that means it will original word was what? Original word was, let's say, mom. So mom's the last, it should be go to the last index number. So character at. So character at is a, remember if you have watched my video, there is a method called character at. So whatever index number you will provide, it will return the character. So the index number you are providing is the last one. So it will return the character, which is M 012. So this is number 2. It will return M. And then this will be stored in reverse word. So right now this has M. Okay. It will go decrement, take the second one, which is 1. And this character will store again here. So this was coming from MO. And then it will come again here. Okay, based on the for loop, it will reverse. So basically it will reverse the string and store it in here. So right now this reverse word, we have a reverse word. The word that user input, we have the reverse word. So now initially we're saying just declaring a Boolean variable, Boolean palindrome equal to true. So we just declared a Boolean variable. It's not a big deal, just a normal thing. Here we're doing what? We are writing a for loop. This for loop was for reversing the word, but this for loop is inside where we are basically checking our original word and our reverse word character by character. Okay, so this for loop starts from 0, integer I equal to 0. So that means integer index number equal to 0, and then I less than original word dot length. So it will go till the last index number I plus plus. Now there is an if condition here. So original word is which one? The one that user inserted. And reverse word is the one that we just reversed. So we are saying if original word dot character at. So that means initial index number what? Initial index number 0. So 0 means first character. So this is the first character of original word, which was M, which was inserted by user, not equal to reverse word dot character I. So that means if the original word first character is not equal to reverse word first character, then change the palindrome, this palindrome to false. That means it's not palindrome number. So it's not palindrome words, right? Because palindrome words should be all same. Whenever you are reversing, it will still keep the same character for the first index number. But we're saying if our original character is not equal to our original reverse character, that means this is not palindrome. So we're changing this Boolean value equal to false here. Okay, so this is what happened like when it's not going to do. Now we're writing here if palindrome. So that means if Boolean value palindrome means we are saying if palindrome equal to true. So if it is palindrome means we are mentioning this line. Okay, so if palindrome, just go ahead and print this particular word, original word is a palindrome. Else, if it is not palindrome, that means this one. So go ahead and print this word is not palindrome. So simple enough. Take an input from the user. This is the original word. Okay, this particular code is reversing your original word and kept into this empty string. Okay, so now we have original word and we have reverse word. We just wrote this for loop which starts from 0. Okay, so that means initially i's character I equal to index number 0. So this will check your original word and your reverse word characters from index number 1 is matching equal to index number 1 of reverse word. So this is saying if original word index number 1 not equal to original word reverse word index number 1, that means this doesn't match. So that means we have to change. That means this is not palindrome. So we're changing the value palindrome to false. Now, if it is not false, then definitely it's true. So that means if any condition, is like equal, okay, not matching this condition, that means this is the palindrome number, palindrome words. So that's why when you saying if palindrome, so if that means if it is not this one, then that means if palindrome, so you're printing the particular word. Otherwise, you're printing the original word is not palindrome. So this was that. The next is again palindrome, but this is for numbers. Remember, there are two types of palindrome. One is for words, and the other one is for numbered. Words is easy because you have string, you can reverse it using some built-in string method. But numbers one is a bit tricky. You have to remember a logic. So this is the number 1. Okay. So let's say I just give you a number 1 to 1. So you have to do what? You have to first reverse it, and then you have to compare it if both number is matching or not. Okay. Now numbers palindrome, usually they don't ask a lot, but if they do, then you just have to answer their questions. Okay. So we're just initially declaring integer reminder equal to 0. A variable with just initializing with 0. And we are just declaring integer reverse number, another variable equal to 0. Taking input from the user, okay, by this line, and this line. Okay. We are declaring another variable called integer temp, means temporary. Okay, so I'm not going to use the original number directly. So I'm doing whatever number I'm getting from the user, I'm keeping this in our temp number. So that means our temp variable value equal to the original number. Okay, so the original value is assigned into temp. Now I'm using a do while loop here. Okay, so not do while, sorry, just a while loop. So while loop is, I'm saying while temp not equal to 0. That means while temp value not equal to 0, then execute the particular statements or particular lines inside that while loop. So what's going to happen first one? So first one, I'm going to say temp means this temp, which has the original number. Reminder temp. Okay, so if this temp divided by 10 has any reminder, then it will take the reminder. Okay, so it will keep the reminder. So let's say if it has one particular reminder, if it has like 11 and divided by 10, so there is a reminder 1. So this particular has a reminder. Second, I'm saying, and once you have a reminder, we are going to assign this particular thing into here. So remember, this value is now changed to this value. Second, we're saying reverse number. Which reverse number? The reverse number we declared here, which was 0. Okay. Times 10. This is a logic you have to like always memorize. Times 10 plus reminder. So reverse numbers times 10 means 0 times 10 equal to 0. Reminder what? The reminder that we just get from here. So it should be 3. So it should be 0 plus 3 equal to 0, 3. This line temp divided by 10. So if you divide a particular number, so temp number is what? The original number. So if you divide a particular number, so let's say 1 to 1 divided by 10. So that means it will just deduct the last number. So it will, so let me show you. So let's say Java number divide example. What's happening? Okay. Let me see if I can find. Okay, never mind. So let's say when you're dividing a particular number, okay, so let's say if you divide something like this, let me show you. So let's say you are dividing 101 and you are writing this. Okay, so that means you have to think about what would be the remainder here. So this 10 you can divide by this 10. What's the remainder here? The remainder is 1. So in this case, remainder equal to 1. Okay, but this dividable result should be 10 because the remainder is out. Okay, so this is the same technique here we've been following here. So when you have a remainder, that means the remainder should be this particular remainder. But when you are dividing the number, that means get the number after the remainder. Okay, that means we are not getting the remainder anymore. We are just getting the number. So if it is 101, then 1 will be out. So it should be 10. So it will come here, check the condition. Okay, so temp value is right now what? Right now temp value is the particular new 10. So 10 remainder 10, that means 0. We don't have anything to reminder for now. So reverse numbers times 10 equal to 10 times 10. What is the reverse number? The reverse number previously was 3. So 3 times 10, this is how it goes. Okay, so basically you have to memorize these 3 lines of logics if you are doing a palindrome number wise. Okay, so now let me just quickly let's see if I have the code. Let me just quickly explain how it works. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, let me just explain so you'll get a clear idea. Okay, so okay, not this one. Okay, so let's say this is the remainder 0 initially, reverse number 0. So initially user input here. So let's say I just inserted what number? Reverse should be 1 to 1. Okay, so this is the number. I want to check if this is a palindrome or not. So first of all, it will check. This will be assigned to temp. So right now temp value is what? Temp value is 1 to 1. The original number we have assigned it to temp because we're going to play with the temp. So we don't need to change the original number. So that's why we're assigning this original number to temp. So we are going to play around with the temp. So here it's saying when or while temp number not equal to 0 till it will go inside and do this. But if it is 0, that means this condition doesn't match. Okay, if it is something 0 here, this condition doesn't match, it will break the loop. So the first thing, it will come here, reminder. So reminder temp times temp. So if you go here and find 1 to 1, okay, divided by 10. So what should be the reminder here? So if you go back to Java reminder operator so that it will give you a clear idea what exactly reminder operator is. I'm just trying to recap you guys so that you will, let me see if I can find something. Reminder operator. Okay, so here I think I'll get some examples. I'm trying to find a simple example. The reminder operator stands reminder of two numbers. For instance, 10 reminder 3 times. Yeah. So this is the reminder, I think, if you forget what reminder is. So let's say 10 reminder 3. Okay. So you have to think like, what is the rest? This 1 is what? 10 reminders 3 is 1. Because if you divide it by 10 by 3, so what's going to happen? 3 times 3 times equal to 9. So there will definitely be one reminder left, right? So this is 10 divided by 3 leaves a reminder, which is 1. Okay. So now the same exactly, if you divide this 1 to 1 by 10. So what's going to happen? So what's going to happen? It's the max we can go is 10 times 12 equal to 120. So that means the max you can go is 120, but our value is 121. So what's the remainder left? The remainder left equal to 1, right? So that means we have remainder here equal to 1. Okay, so this is our remainder. Come here, what's the reverse number? The reverse number here is this one, okay, times 10. This is the logic. You have to memorize it, okay? So times 10, so that means 0 times 10 initially. That means 0 plus reminder. So that means it will do what? It will do 0 plus 1. So equal to 1. So this 1 has been assigned into reverse number. Okay, because this was reverse number value, and this one, this is the right now this current value. Now if you come here, so what's the temporary value right now? The temporary value is 121 divided by 10. So if you have anything in Java like this, so it will always do what? It will always like keep out the reminder. So what was the reminder? The reminder was 1. Okay, so that means it will take out the reminder. Okay, so that means you have two numbers right now. Okay, so if you have two numbers, so 12 times, sorry, it should not be like this. It should be like this. Okay? It just take out the reminder. Okay, so that means you have two numbers right now. Okay, so right now, what's the temp? This temp value has two numbers, and this has been assigned to here. So right now this is 12. Coming to here, okay. If you divided 12 by and 10, so 12 will go one time. So 10 will go one time into 12. The remainder should be what? The remainder should be 2. Okay, so remember, get the remainder. Previously the remainder was 1. Right now the remainder is what? 2. So the remainder is here 2. So if you divide it by reverse number times 10. Okay, so what was the previous reverse number? The previous reverse number was 2. Okay, so previous reverse number 2 times 10 equal to what? 20 plus remainder 1. So equal to 21. So right now it's 21. Okay, that's fine. So it will come again here. Okay, so right now it is keeping out the reminder. If you it is the value the number is 12 and is divided by 10, so it will keep out the 2, so it should be 1. Okay, so it will go here, still the value is 1. So if you divide it by one particular things is 1 remainder 10. So if you divide it by 1, just give me 1 second. Hello. Okay, so where was I? Anyway, so this particular number, the important part here is like we have two types of palindrome. Number one is word-wise, which is this one, and number two is number-wise, one-to-one. So if you return this one reverse-wise, and if you return this one reverse-wise, and then we are checking both these two numbers. Now, this one is a bit tricky. If you still want to understand this, I'm going to go with an YouTube example. So this will be much more easier because he took a long time, at least. What's the number? Palindrome. Check. Palindrome numbers check. Palindrome numbers check in Java. So a guy, his name is, how can I be free my identity, palindrome number.
Hi everyone, welcome. In this video,
Yep, this guy. So you can just take a look. It will take a long time. So you can just take a look. You'll get clear ideas what's happening here the same way that we have done, the exact same way. But the summary is you have to memorize this particular logic. Okay. So this was that. I forgot where was I. Okay. So
Why could you please share the link for this video?
I'll add it. I'll add it in my document. Okay.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
okay, thank you.
I actually forgot where was I. I'll explain something here. Anyway, so if you still don't understand palindrome numbers, just text me. I'll give another example, but I'll add this particular video link so it will. And number 15 is all the important methods that you have learned for string. Okay, sometimes they can ask you like, what is the length method? So these are the mostly used string method. Like for example, length, character add, concat. I think you are already familiar with, but I just tried to use an example so you can just get through it. So these are the 15 programs. Again, it's not like I'm like always like ensuring that every interview you'll get an automation. Sorry, you'll get in like chance to write the programs, but if they do, most of the time they do ask like these kind of questions. So if you are trying to understand each of them, make sure you're practicing it, trying to understand each lines of code. If you're still confused, just go to Google and search for the particular line. The first thing I would say, like just text on our WhatsApp group, like which part you're not understanding. So I'll definitely, when I'll see it, I'll definitely try to explain. And if somebody else knows, like he can also explain. So this is the particular documentation. I'll give it to you. Now, beside this, you can also practice some other programming language, programming exercises if you want, but I think these are enough for now. So this was that. The next thing I'm going to do is interview. Okay, So I'm going to show you some real time, how real-time Jira looks like when you go to a particular company, how you can create a ticket or something. Okay. So if you go to a particular company, the most important thing you have to do is whenever you start working, it doesn't matter if you're working as a manual QA or if you're working as a junior QA or senior QA, you have to find an issue. Now, once you find an issue, usually most of the company use Jira to log it. There are some other tools, some of the company they use, but most of the time it's Jira. So now how can you create a ticket in Jira for the bug ticket? So for the particular bug. So first of all, this is the Jira's backlog. If you go to Jira, okay, and let me explain a little bit. So they will give you a link and access to your Jira. So once you get the Jira, you will have your username and password. Okay, so this will be your user account. Okay, so now once you are in the Jira, you'll see so many things like dashboard, projects, issues, boards, blah, 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 something like this. Now, the first thing you have to ensure is like which projects are you in, because you have to mention which projects you are working. So you can click on the drop down and your team will provide you a project name. So you have to select this drop down and you have to select your project first. Once you select your project, you will see some options here on this area. If you just put your mouse over on it, you can see something called backlog. Okay, so backlog means these are all the stories that has been created that will be assigned to a particular sprint, but this has not been started yet, or there are some issues that already has been added in the particular sprint. You can see like 7 issues active. Now, this is not our main concern. The main concern is like, how can we create a ticket? So if you like to create a ticket, there's a create button. Sometimes you might see here, sometimes you might see on the left side, sometimes you might see on the right side. It depends like how companies are like designing their UI for Jira. Okay, so you have to click on the create button. Okay, once you click on the create button, it will navigate you to the next page. The next page is this one. It should be you will see a pop-up menu. So inside the pop-up menu, the first thing you have to select your project. That means the current every team has a project. They're working on a specific project and they will have a project name. So you have to find out from the drop down your project name. Then you have to find out the issue type. Issue type is what? In your case, it should be bug, B-U-G, the red one. Okay. So once your issue type is there, then you can write a summary. For example, like if the login feature is not working, so summary is basically means the title. Okay. So let's say you can say like login feature is not working properly. This is your title. Or submit button is not working properly. Okay. So, or search functionality is not working properly. This could be like your title, which is in the summary. Now, usually when you are creating a particular ticket in Jira, you don't need to fill out all the fields. Okay. Most of the company, they just want some fields that needs to be filled out. So this summary should be titled. Priority means how important it is. If it is like something not that much important. So for example, like you can see, oh, logo is not displaying. I'd say it's a low priority. Or text font is like incorrect. It's a low priority. But if something happens like search functionality is not working, so it's major. So if you click on the drop down, you can see like major, and then you can see like mid, intermediate, major. Then you can see like normal, you can see like minor, this kind of thing, like the priority wise, like how is going to impact your application. You don't need to put anything in the due date. Okay, you don't need to put anything in the components. Okay, affected version, it depends, like in your company, whenever you first go to your company, you can ask, hey, can you give us some existing bug tickets so that I can take a look? So you can check like if there's an affected version there. You don't need to write anything full version. Assignee means who you are going to, or who are you going to assign this particular ticket. So the first thing you have to discuss with your developer, if a developer is particularly saying, hey, assign it to me. So you have to assign to his number. When you click on a drop down, it will ask the name of the particular developer. And once you provide the developer, it will go ahead and environment, like which environment you have produced. Okay. If it is QA environment, you have to mention QA environment with the URL. If it is preport, you have to mention preport. Also environment, you have to mention which browser. So you can type browser, go to Chrome, and then you can mention the browser version, like whatever version you have used. Okay. Once you added this particular ticket, you'll see something like this with the red icon. Okay. So it will stay in the backlog. Someone has to assign it into the sprint. So there is one column here you'll find called sprint. So whenever you type the current sprint name, it will assign this particular ticket to the sprint. So once your ticket is in Jira board, you'll see something like this. So developer, basically to do means the developers, they're going to start the work for the particular story or particular bug ticket or particular task. Okay. Once you can see it's in progress, so that means in this current sprint, this particular feature or this particular bug ticket is in progress from the developer side. When you see something in the QA section, okay, that means that's your work. Now, if you see a ticket in your QA column, so that means you have to start working on it. If you see like your colleagues are not assigning a ticket, you can just basically click on the particular ticket, just read what's happening, what is the particular feature, what is happening here. If you have any confusion, just see like which developer worked on this particular ticket, just check with him, text him like, hey, I'd like to get some help and just to understand like how this functionality works so that I can start working on it. So once it is in QA and you've been working on it, once you give the confirmation, the ticket is passed, then it goes to ready for acceptance. So that means somebody has to take the acceptance test. Some companies they do, most of the companies they don't in this every sprint. So in this case, once in the QA column, it will go to directly the done section or the close section. So once you see that the expected ticket is working fine, then you just need to close it. And you have to add a comment. There's a comment section in the Jira ticket. So you have to add a comment section. Hey, I checked this in QA environment. It is working as expected. So I'm just closing the ticket. Okay. And then you just close the ticket. So that's it. They'll get a notification. So that means this particular sprint, we had this. These are the tickets that has been closed on the right column. Okay. Now the Jira Epic. Remember I discussed about the Epic. Epic is how does the Epic looks like? These are the Epics look like basically. And Jira workflow. This is basically you don't need to memorize anything. It's just the process how it works. So whenever a ticket now this process can be customized for a different company. Okay. So if you think that this should be the same for all, then it's not. So let me just explain how it works. Okay. So this is the process. So whenever a ticket has been opened, okay, first is it goes ready for development. That means it's in the to-do section. Some company there's ready for development, some company there's to-do, whatever it has. Then you can see like it comes from here to here. Then you can see it's going to in development means in progress. Okay, so the developer take it. Once ready for development test, once this particular thing is ready for development test and so that means when developer take it, they write some code and then they do some integration testing and then they merge it to their master branch. Then it goes to this particular start dev test and merge. So that means once they finally merge it, they assign the QA here and it is ready for QA. So developer now throw this particular thing to QA column. So that means this particular ticket is in now QA column. You should start working on it. So start QAing. If the QA passed, okay, if the QA in this QA it is passed, then QA just add a comment and close it. If it does not pass, that means if for some reason it is blocked, then it is basically sending to the ready for development again. Okay, so this is the process that this is how it works. However, if it is passed, then you can add this particular ticket in your regression suite. If if you think that this is needed. Otherwise, you can just push it to for the release. The release happens in production. You'll see the same feature on live, and then this particular feature has been completed. So this is the basic workflow system of Jira. So now again, it's not like same for all the companies. Most of the companies have like very last steps. Okay, so but this is how like Jira looks like. Now, if we go back to test case management. So remember, in our test case management class, we mentioned there are two ways you can write test cases. One using Excel sheet, the other way using TestRail. Okay, there are some other tools like PractiTest, some other tools like different company use, but mostly TestRail and like manually writing it, we used Excel. Now, how can you write test cases? You mentioned you have good experience now in your company. You don't know like how to write test cases. So this template will definitely help. So first of all, go to your particular working company, and you can ask like, hey, can you give me the Excel template, or can you give me the TestRail template that you guys have? Or you can just say like, what template, what test case management tool do you guys use, TestRail or Excel? So if they say something, why don't you just give me so that I can take a look at it? So this is the Excel thing. Okay, so test case management, they have a test case ID. Give me sure. So the first thing, whenever you create test cases, you need a test case ID. This test case ID, you cannot just randomly write it. It depends on your project name or feature name. You have to ask your team members like what's the how they're following. If they're just giving a random numbers 1, 2, 3, that's fine. But if you see something text, like a particular text, for example, STM101, STM102, so that means you have to understand like how does it work. This is the test scenario. Okay, this is the test case for this particular scenario. That means the steps. This is precondition if you need any precondition. Okay, then this is the test steps. Okay, the individual steps that you're performing one by one. This is the test data that you're going to use. And this is the result. If you think the result, if after the test, if you say the result is successful, then you can write a successful. If you need any post condition, then you can add post condition. Otherwise, it should be basically empty. Actual result, that means expected result, we should see successful login. Actual result after your testing, what exactly you are saying. If you're saying it is matching with the expected, then it is pass. If it is saying it is not matching with the expected, then it should be failed. So you can see this is a basic template. This is the real-time example of how you write a test case in the test case management. Now, this is much more organized one. In your company, it should be more organized, or you can see like something very simple, like more simple than that. Okay. The other way you can write test case is called using a test case management tool, which is called TestRail. So this is how the interface looks like. Now in your company, I don't know like which company you're going to work and what tool they're going to use, but usually these are the two things. Otherwise, they might use something else also. So this is the test case basically management tool called TestRail. You can see these are the test case ID, and these are the test case scenario. So if you'd like to write a test case, you can go to the top. You can see there's an area called test cases. You have to click on it. Once you click on it, okay, so once you click on this particular test cases, you can see all the test cases that they have. If you'd like to add one test case, you can just click on here. Or if you'd like to edit a particular test case, you have to click on here, and then you can edit. You can also select a particular checkbox and then click edit. You can also select a particular checkbox and select delete if you'd like to delete a particular test case. Now, if you'd like to add a particular test case, you have to click on that test case. You can see the first, you have to mention the section, if it is UI, if it is backend, if it is front end, like. Then the template means is like what exactly you're doing. You're writing a test case. Priority means like how important it's for your application. So depending on the situation, then you have to write the precondition if it has any precondition. If it does not, then you have to write the steps. like what are the steps for the test case, and you can see like some of the below. So I just added some videos. If your company, not right now, if your company after joining you see like they're using TestRail, you can just watch those videos. But if you have like your company, they're using Excel, you can just take some ideas from here. Okay, so this is how you can write test cases in the test case management tool. The last thing we're going to see is wireframe design. Now, BRD is a document where every features, functionality, everything has been written like and in a like description wise or paragraph wise, you know. But right now, most of the companies are turning from BRD to wireframe because wireframe is much more effective, much more easier. So wireframe is basically it's kind of like BRD, but it's visually much more like effective. For example, this is a mobile application. Okay, so you can see this is a game feed. So whenever you click on the sign in section, it will navigate you to the sign page. Now in the sign in page, it should be look like this. This is the option that needs to be there, and also like they will add some description here and there. And so this is called the wireframe. You know, if you go to the next one, you can see this is called the wireframe for a particular website. So let's say if this is YouTube. Okay, so the left side, this will be the home, my channel, trending. These are all the menus. This should be the ad. This is that. So wireframe is basically they're making a particular design structure. So based on the design structure, you are going to implementing all the things. Now, if you have any questions, hey, how this work, you can ask your project manager. You can ask the BA. They will explain like this should be work. Now, this is much more effective because this looks, you can easily look what will be the future look of this particular things and how it works instead of just reading the BRD, which is just like kind of paragraph or just kind of documents. So sometimes it's very confusing. So this is how basically wireframe looks like. Okay. So now I'm not able to show some real-time wireframe like from my company right now because you know it's a confidential information. So, but this is how it looks like. Every company has. So when you go to a particular company, the first thing you have to do is you have to ask them, hey, can I see the BRD documents or can I see the wireframe design? Do you guys use BRD or wireframe, whatever you want to use? Okay. So this was that, and that's all about today's class. Now, I'm just going to talk about a few things. You guys already participated in the interview session last week, and so what do you think about yourself? Like when you guys going to start to participate in those interview, like interview wise? I mean, do you think like you are seeing any barriers for that particular interview, or you're confident enough to start interviewing? Or any question for me regarding this?
Yes, I was thinking of scheduling an interview with you. If you're able to take
Yeah,
it.
I'm completely. Let me just turn off the recording for now. Okay, now I can leave the recording. It's okay. So that the interview that was happened on Wednesday. Most of the questions, you know, right? Most of the questions, you know, even behavior questions, you know. The last candidate, they participated in some interview, but most of the technical question that I asked, they couldn't answer those questions. Okay, and this is most important. You have to answer the question. Now, I really didn't want to demotivate them, so that's why I didn't say anything. I asked a few questions, for example, like why Java is not, why we use static in Java main method. What's the difference between abstract and interface? So remember, these are the questions you will find in my documentation, and most of the Java questions you'll find in my documentation. So technically, you have to prepare for those type of questions, definitely. And remember, I asked a few questions like, what is regression suite? So one of them, she has explained something else. And so remember, this is whenever you have any confusion, you don't know like how to answer questions, try to ask the interviewer, could you be more specific, please? Okay. It's not a bad thing. You're just asking for reference, but mostly whatever question you have to answer it correctly. Okay, so I believe the amount of documentations that I gave you for everything, if you just prepare by following those, that's enough for your interview. Okay, but make sure you're understanding everything. So some of you guys already sent me documentation, and I wanted to, or I really want to set up a scheduled call, because remember, if you choose something, like if you choose a feature, then first you have to explain me, if you have to show me physically, hey brother, I basically choose this particular feature from this particular website, and this is how it works. So if I don't know how the feature works, then how can I verify your documents? So remember, whenever you are sending me documents, make sure like check with me for a Google meeting or Zoom meeting or whatever, like WebEx meeting, so that you have to explain me your project first. What is the project that you have selected, how it works? Okay, so once you explain me that, then based on the explanation and based on the particular feature or particular project, that I can check your documents. Okay, so so make sure when you are sending me documents, make sure you're checking with me so that we can schedule a meeting about your particular project. And once you explain me your project, if it is right, if I see like you are all right with that, the functionality is right, then I'll definitely check your project documentation, which is the last project. But if I think like this project will not be like suitable for you, so I'll recommend something else, and I'll definitely tell you the steps so that you can update. So again, in your last interview, you saw when people were saying, tell me about yourself, they were explaining a lot of things which was in the resume. And I really don't want that, because that's why you are giving the company the resume, right? So you don't need to tell everything that you already mentioned in the resume. Make sure, okay? So it's important, first of all, talk about 2 or 3 lines based, like I've been working in this company I've been working as a QA engineer for the last 5 years. I've worked in various domains, for example, e-commerce, blah, blah, blah. And then you can just mention like signature tools. For example, and I'm mostly experienced with Java as a programming language, Selenium for web automation, API for backend testing, this and that. Okay, that's it. And then you can start. So I've been in my current company, I've started working from last year, or like I've been working for the last 2 years. And then during this period of time, I've changed a lot of things. I've contributed. And then you can talk about like what exactly you have changed in your current companies, what exactly you have contributed so far in your current companies. This is how tell me about yourself should go. Now, if you just bypassing this and if you just talk about like, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I know Java, and everything is written in the resume, so you're just repeating, and most interviewer they don't want to hear this. Okay, so this is one suggestion for tell me about yourself. Okay, number 2 is never offer any extra question to ask the interviewer. If you just noticed in the last interview, the second candidate, she was asking something after the tell me about it. She was like, oh, do you know here's something else? Don't do that. Okay, if he wants to know about tell me, if he wants to know just tell me about yourself, just talk, tell me about yourself, that's it, and stop. Okay, wait for the next question. So don't offer any extra question to him, to the interviewer generally. Number 3, if you think you don't know a question or you have never heard of this particular question. So for example, I asked someone like, hey, what was the last topic that you guys discussed in the retro meeting? Now, retrospective meeting, people don't say like this. Nowadays, people say like in a short form retro. Okay, so let's say if their company is saying retrospective, and if I'm basically taking the interview from another company, and in our company it says it calls like retro. So now if you're confused, if you don't know, you can just tell, hey, could you please be more specific about these questions? Okay, could you please provide an example? So the interview will definitely give you an example, or he will definitely try to give you a comfortable word sentencing to make you understand what exactly it is. Then you can go ahead and answer the questions. Now, if you still don't know the question, if you still don't know the answer of the questions, the tricks I explained a lot of times, that just make a story. Okay, so for example, like if I don't know what was the last topic that was discussed in our retro meeting. So if you ask me like, hey, can you tell me what was the last topic that was discussed in the retro meeting? So I'll say, oh, interesting. Thank you for asking me the questions. You know, the last retro meeting that happens like probably a long time ago. So currently we're working in this current project, which is called the Levi's second-hand project, and like we're very busy with that. And the functionality of this feature is this. So trying to change its focus from your retrospective to your current project. Okay, so you're just telling him a story, you know, nothing else. But and after that, you can say, I'm so sorry, I completely forgot about what exactly was discussed, because we have been like crazy working in this particular features, and that needs to be released on this week. And if you tell
Bhaiya, another thing, is it allowed to talk about your retro meeting in an interview? Because that's also confidential, isn't it?
Definitely it is, but most of the interviewers, they're going to ask you, because everything is confidential. When you are talking about it,
I'm not
when you
allowed
are talking
to
about
talk,
a
why should I
particular,
answer it?
so if you think like this, then everything is confidential. Your last project, you're explaining him
Oh,
the
that's also,
functionality.
yeah.
This is confidential. You are explaining about the tools of your current project. This is confidential. You are explaining about the team size. This is confidential. So yes, I completely agree with you. It is confidential, but without disclosing those information, you will not get the job. You know.
Yeah.
So for example, like if they say, hey, how did you work in this current project, like for the backend? So that means you are explaining the current company's backend project to them, which is not right. But if you don't explain, how are you going to get the job? So, so I think this is fine. But this is the important part. If you don't know your questions, make sure you are trying to cover it by telling him a story, just instead of saying, I don't know. Okay, that's the tricky part. And I also explained in the last interview that always try to prepare a questions when they will ask you, hey, do you have any question for us? Okay, just don't say, okay, what is your team size? So how is the environment? What is this? What is that? No, try to be a more specific questions. For example, like you can say, hey, so imagine, let's say in your e-commerce based application, let's say a user who basically finds an issue. Let's say your feature, let's say a particular feature that has been released in production. Okay, your developer, your QA engineer, everyone, they tested it, they ensure the quality of this particular feature, everything is working perfectly before. But for some reason, a user who found an issue on production, and he just send you a text or send you a message or send you an email from your contact information, hey, I'm seeing this issue now. He's a user, so you don't know like how to write a ticket, like how to show you the reproduce step, but he's just telling you a description of the issue. Now when you get an email from that particular user, your QA engineer tried to reproduce it, but he's not able to reproduce it. So how are you going to take these kind of situations? A user who finds an issue, he sends the issue to you guys, but you are not able to reproduce it from your end. So how are you going to ensure that nothing is happening on production? Now, this is a tricky question. Okay. Another tricky question you can ask, hey, during this pandemic, we just experienced a lot of like application trafficking. So what this means, like, for example, people used to go to the store and they used to buy physically. So there's the website that are currently like providing like the online services, there was less traffic. But when the pandemic started, now everybody started shopping from website. So what is your backup plan to take all the extra load immediately that happened? Okay, so how do you guys ensure these kind of things? For example, you can add an IRS thing, like whenever people try to hit the IRS website, sometimes says IRS website is not found, something like this. Okay, now if it is a banking company, you can ask, like, let's say we have an banking application that is installed in my mobile. Okay, and for some reason, Apple, who is right now, or like Facebook, who is right now tracking all the informations, and for some reason, Facebook is tracking my username and password of my bank. Okay, now is there any chance that Facebook can track my when Facebook has my credentials that they're tracking, and is there any chance that they can break my application from my mobile because they're tracking the information? If it does, how do you guys ensure the security for that? Now, I'm telling you, this kind of question is very challenging for the interviewer. Okay, most of the time when I do ask questions, the interviewer say, hey, I don't know, I don't know this answer, but we'll figure it out. So now, if this is the last chance that you show your smart work, a one question can change interviewer's mind. I'm telling you that. Okay, so let's say you have 10 questions. Okay, so you couldn't answer like 5 questions, and you did answer like 5 questions. But if you ask a smart questions lastly, sometimes you can like change the interviewer's mind. Sometimes they think, oh wow, well, that shows like how talented he or she is. Okay, so that's why I always say, nobody will say this before and after, nobody will say this, but I always say this is a part of interview. So make sure, not only for QA but also in your whole life, whenever anybody will ask you, hey, do you have any question for us, make sure you are making a smart list of questions. Okay, and then you can ask them. So another thing is, when you go for a particular interview, always second. So always, let's say you'd like to submit an application for this particular job. Okay, now check, the first thing you have to check the job responsibility or job description. That means what exactly you're going to do. Okay, so make sure whatever, if you see like there are 10 responsibilities that you have to do, but you know like 5, go for it, because every company, they want to hire, if even they want to hire a manual QA engineer, they would say, oh, okay, we need mobile application engineer, we need automation engineer, everything. They will describe everything, but don't worry about it. If you think like there are five things that are matching, try to update the resume a little bit based on their description. Okay, save it, send it to them. Okay, whenever you're preparing for the interview, make sure the tools that you don't know, for example, well, you don't know the CMS, this DMHS, just search on Google and just try to understand what it is as a definition wise before the interview. Okay, and then if they ask you like, hey, do you know, have you ever get a chance to work with CMS? So usually most of the candidates say, no, I did not. But if you say, oh no, CMS is a content management tool, and I think this works like this, and this is very interesting. I didn't get a chance to work on it yet, but I think I'm a quick learner. Once I'll get a chance, I'll definitely give it a shot. See how the answer like differs? So that's why you have to just take a look at the tools that you don't know a little bit, like just to describe how it works just before the interview. Okay, so this is one of the important things. And let's say, let me show you. So what you can do for now, I'd like you guys to join in the interview session from the next Wednesday. Okay, doesn't matter how much or how how many questions you can answer or not. But once you started like taking those interviews, it will help you a lot to bring your confidence like more up. Okay, and I'll try to join most of the interview session, and then like after a few interview session with me, with the also with the QA eLearn team, with Quillby and everyone, then you can just create an account here. Okay, in this Indeed, there are three things I recommend: Indeed, and then the other one is called Dice. It's Dice. Okay, so this one you can also go. This is another job platform. So Indeed.com, Dice, and the other one I forgot. Let me see. Job sites. So I mentioned Indeed, Dice, and there's something else I forgot. Oh, Monster. Okay, this is the other one, Monster. So you basically create an account for all of this. Okay, and then now if you're confused, oh, I don't know, I've never used Monster, just go to YouTube and search like how to create an account, Monster, how to upload resume, how to do this, how to do that. Okay, same for Indeed and everything, you know. So there are three sites I mentioned: monster.com. Okay, then I mentioned dice.com. Then I mentioned indeed.com. Indeed.com, or probably Indeed. Yeah, indeed.com. Okay, sign up. Then in the profile you have to mention everything, just like the resume. Upload your resume, apply it. Now before creating this particular thing, go to YouTube, search how to create a profile on Indeed, how to apply for a job in Indeed. Okay, just get some knowledge, and once you're ready, upload your resume, and then you can do what? You can search for a job, like for example, like junior QA tester. Okay, find the job. Let's say this one is a junior. First of all, just check the responsibility. Okay, read everything from here. Okay, then click on apply. In my case, it will show like, hey, you have to sign up. So in your case, you'll see your you'll just check, hey, this is your resume. Do you want to apply with this resume? Then just send next. Once you send next, you'll get a confirmation on this page, and also you'll get a confirmation from the email that you have used. Okay, so make sure always checking your Indeed profile and always checking your email, because if the recruiter will text you, so they will basically send you an email, or sometimes once you log in, you'll see like there's an chat box for the Indeed, Monster, and Dice. Okay, so they also have the chat box, so they'll send a message like, hey, are you available, something like this, you know. So initially, Monster, Dice, Indeed, these are the three things. You can start applying once you think you're comfortable. Now again, you can schedule interview with me. Just text me that am I available or not. Mostly it's going to be like Monday to Friday. It should be like at the night time, and it will take like half an hour. So I'll take your interview. I'll give you some suggestions if needed, what needs to be improved. So based on that, and again, for the interview, I just mentioned like go one step ahead. You don't need to start everything together. For example, in the first interview, like let's keep it in mind. Okay, the first interview, I have to be like confident about my document project-wise questions. For example, last project, tell me about yourself, tell me about your current project, this kind of information with the behavioral questions, with the testing questions, this and that. Second interview, I have to mostly prepare on the Selenium Java. Third interview, I have to mostly prepare on the backend testing side. Fourth interview, I have to prepare on the rest of them. So just go following this way. So after you find several interviews, you'll see like your improvement has been a lot. Okay, so this is how you can apply. Some of you guys send me documentation again. Only Shagarika, she had a discussion with me last week about her features. So she sent me her documentation. I'm going to check today, and whoever's whoever else is like just choose a feature, make sure you're checking with me, schedule a meeting with me so that you can explain your feature or you can explain your last project. And based on your explanation, then I can check like the documents that you have already written is correct or not. Okay. So that's why if you just send me the documentation, it's going to be a little more challenging for me because I don't know like which application you choose. I don't know like the functionality of it. So you first have to explain to me, and I also have to check like the project or the feature that you have chosen is, I mean, you have proper understanding, not you have like proper understanding on this particular feature or not. And let's say you have chosen a particular feature that you don't know the proper functionality. So that's another thing. So make sure whoever's going to send me a documentation for the first time for the last project, make sure just check with me so that we can schedule a meeting, and you can describe me your application or like application features, and then based on that we can check the particular documentation. And again, don't worry for like don't worry for the full preparation. I would say like start preparing interviews for now. Okay, if you are even not like that much prepared, still go for the interview session with me and with the real by team. They're offering, remember there are a lot of people over there, so if you are able to talk 5 minutes, that's a very good thing, you know. Okay, so I'd say like try to try to take those advantages. Okay, don't wait for like, oh okay, I'm not prepared, maybe after 1 month I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay, because once right now you are in the flow, once this class, today is the last class, so we'll not have any, I mean we will not have any classes from the next Sunday. I'll take the interviews personally, or like let's say group wise. If you guys combine with the group wise, it should be like Monday to Friday at any time at night time, or like Saturday Sunday night time. But make sure if you have any questions, any suggestions, any concern, just text me on the group. Okay, I'll try my best to help you. But what I suggest, definitely try to participate in the interviews that the QA Learn teams are taking on every Wednesday. Okay, and I'm 100% sure that you guys should perform much, much, much better than the previous candidates. Why? Because I provided all the documents for you. Okay, I provided all the documents for you. I provided everything for you, even including the resume. So you have to prepare yourself based on that. You don't need to create anything. You don't need to create anything by yourself. You just have to update those, modify those based on your understanding. That's it. And you have to prepare. So I also gave you the structure, how you should say, what exactly you should say, how can you avoid questions, how to get a proper answer, okay, how to make up a story. And the other thing is like, whenever you say, tell me about yourself, don't just be like you're reading a newspaper. Okay, so that's what I also noticed in the last interview session. Somebody, she was reading like, you just have to tell a story. Like, I mean, you can definitely say the tell me about yourself. Okay, you can see the documents, you can say it, but make sure you're not reading a newspaper. Okay, make sure you are basically delivering your speech based on story wise, means you are talking about that's what you are really, I mean in real life you're doing. But if you're reading a newspaper, that means they will see, oh okay, you maybe memorized it from somewhere else, or then you are just saying like this. Okay, so that's the important part. Like, you were just talking about, you're telling me about yourself just in a regular way that you talk with other people. Okay, that's another important thing. And all right guys, so I'll give you all the documentations that we discussed about today. And I'm just telling you one more time, this is the right time to go in the market. Don't just wait. If you need anything from my side, let me know. And thank you so much for having with me for this.
Yeah, I wanted some suggestions from you about the documentation I sent you.
Yeah, I'll check your document today.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give it to you,
Thank you.
by today. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right, guys,
Bye.
take care of yourself, and I wish all of you a very good luck. And please take the advantages and participate in the interviews. Okay. All right. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.